Welcome to the Three Not So Wise Men. I am Jack.
I'm Krais.
And I'm Austin.
So last time, in a very chaotic episode at the end of one, we spun the wheel, and I don't quite remember this because I was under the table, but that was
that's a core memory, I think.
Yeah.
But I think we spun. Yes, we did spin.
Well, Jack was under the table, so I'll explain what we
take
spun.
it over.
So last episode we spun create your own treasure hunt movie.
Yeah.
So honestly, this one could be fun. We don't see a whole lot of treasure hunt movies these days.
No.
I mean, I guess they're more streaming services.
Yeah.
Streaming shows now, like
Yeah.
like Outer Banks is a treasure hunt show.
Oh, yeah, that it is.
Yeah, there really isn't a
There
whole
really
lot.
Yeah,
I think that the golden era for it was like Indiana Jones.
Like the
The first
also
three.
golden age of cinema too.
Yeah. They haven't just done it. I think they just did it so much. But
either way, we're gonna create our own.
Yeah, we're gonna create our own, and we're gonna bring it back.
Anyone got any personal fun experiences with treasure hunt movies?
I'm not really, but I'm doing some research on like a history of treasure hunt movies. It looks like the latest one was 2017.
Which was
The Adventurers.
Yeah, never heard of it.
yeah.
It was a Japanese movie.
Well,
When did Dial of Destiny come out?
this year? No, 2023 summer.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
it's
so that would be
advertised,
the
so I
most
might be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dial of Destiny isn't even on here. What the fuck is this list? Get out of here!
Anyway,
But I would say for me, I read Treasure Island.
mhm.
I watched Muppets Treasure Island,
The best
as well as the
movie.
original,
Mhm.
and then also Treasure Planet, which is basically Treasure Island but in
on-
space.
Because
Yeah.
so make it to get a new movie, just take a movie and then put in space in the background, and you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Jurassic Park, but this time the dinosaurs are fighting back against the asteroids.
I don't know about you guys, but when I think of Muppet Treasure Island, the opening scene where they're in the tavern and the little kid is with all the Muppets and they're like fire, and they're just running around. That scene lives infamously in my brain. Nothing else in the movie comes to my brain but that scene.
I haven't seen it.
We gotta watch
one of
that.
the best Muppet movies.
Yes, agreed.
Now I'm thinking about it, I've seen a lot of treasure hunt movies. There's very few that I was a big fan of. Obviously the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
The Goonies.
The Goonies was a big one. I did watch Treasure Island, but it was like one of 3 movies that my grandma had that we played a lot that were all very similar. That was probably my least favorite of those 3. The other 2 being Swiss Family Robinson and 50,000 Leagues Under the Sea, whatever it's called.
20,000 Leagues.
20,000 Leagues
Yeah,
Under the Sea.
pretty deep under the sea.
Actually, leagues don't refer to depth. If they refer to distance traveled. If they actually went 20,000 leagues deep into the sea, they would have gone past Earth into space. So, yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking, like, are you sure they go out to space, or they would go...
No, they would go out into the space.
They
Or
would
they
go through the planet
Through
up.
the planet and to the other side of the planet.
No, they would
I
go
think
through
it-
the planet and into space. That's how long it would go if they just went down.
I think it means they traveled that far while
Yeah.
they were under the sea. Anyway.
Anyways, we were just messing with Krais to piss him off, as always.
Yeah, I think those are my big treasure hunt movies that I've seen.
Yeah, I can't really think of any others besides Indiana Jones and the Goonies.
Oh, Road to El Dorado.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that the other day.
Yeah,
We need to rewatch it.
I don't
Rewatch it. I haven't even seen it in the first place.
Oh, yeah, that's why we need to rewatch it.
You and I rewatch it. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of treasure hunt movies under my belt, the more I think about it. But I did play a shit ton of Uncharted. I love Uncharted and like treasure hunt stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Uncharted. I'm trying to think of some other ones. The movie wasn't half bad. I
What
was.
was
I play a lot of Tomb Raider.
Ooh, Tomb Raider is
So,
another good
that's
one.
another
I was
one.
about to say. Didn't they come out with the Tomb Raider TV
Oh,
show
National
recently?
Treasure. That's another one. I
Yeah.
literally had to search up treasure hunt movies because I could not think of it.
Yeah, National Treasure Hunt.
I guess the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie is technically a treasure hunt movie. On top.
still-
It's like an action horror one, but like they
Yeah.
are doing a treasure hunt. So
To answer your question, Jack, yes, a Tomb Raider TV show was announced, but it's
Oh.
not out yet.
this is a good one. The Adventures of Tintin.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
I think I watched it like shortly after it came out, and then I haven't seen it since.
Also, all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and Journey to the Center of the Earth.
I have seen both of the ones with.
The Rock.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if he was in the second. He wasn't in the first one.
No,
Yes, he
wasn't
was.
the first one.
It was
No, it
Brendan
wasn't.
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser was the first
Oh,
one.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
Josh Hutcherson, I think, is in both of them.
Yeah, and yeah, because it was him, and then in the second one, Rock played his stepdad instead of his dad.
Mm.
I don't know why they did that choice, but that's why.
Oh, this is a fun comedy one. Without a Paddle. It has Dax Shepard, Matthew Lillard, and Seth Green.
Mhm.
And basically, they are old childhood friends who reunite after one of their friends dies. And they go on a treasure hunt like they said they would on as kids. And it gets into all sorts of hijinks and stuff.
Yeah.
At one point, Seth Green, since he's a short dude, he gets babied by a bear.
Oh, I've seen this movie. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer. For
It's
it.
so funny. I gotta show it to you guys sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fact that we're having to look these up shows our experience with these movies.
I mean, they're really enjoyable.
It's-
When you're in the mood for them, you're in the mood for them.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at them, yeah, I've seen a lot of these, but
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't, think of them.
The Lost City wasn't half bad.
Oh, how did I forget that one? I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really.
Fool's Gold. Oh my God, I love Fool's Gold.
Oh, well, the Count of Monte Cristo, that's not really a treasure hunt. That's a guy who finds a treasure and then he does a revenge story.
The-
Which Count of Monte Cristo is really good.
The best treasure hunting movie, Dora.
We're in the
I
Lost City.
Oh,
All right, I
we
think
could
we-
keep doing this.
Yeah, we could.
I
think we have a good
want to
amount.
keep doing it.
Too
Jump
bad.
Cruise.
Shut up, Chris.
Too bad. We got an episode.
I know.
Do you?
All right.
Putting
Y'all
it
re-
away.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready for this?
Anything else? No more lists.
We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
If we have seen treasure movies, it's been quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Treasure hunt movies. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right, Austin, hit that timer.
Hit that timer. All right. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. And time.
Okay. Woo, that was.
Honestly, I know this isn't my best. This probably won't be my best story, but honestly, I don't hate it. It's pretty good.
I wasn't super big on mine. I'm like, oh, okay, it's an idea. We'll see. And then I finished it, and I was like, actually, I kind of really like this. It's not
Yeah.
quality isn't great. It's not gonna be a blockbuster, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
really like it.
Mine has the potential to be a blockbuster.
Oh, mine
but
does not.
it's definitely needs some work. I'll say
Mine's not a blockbuster.
Yeah, mine's not, but I feel like it'd be one where it'll definitely find an audience that will love it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I say we just get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who goes first?
All right. Let's see. First person will be. Please be Krais. Please be Krais.
It always is. You don't have to
Oh, this is
speculate.
Austin for once.
We're both wrong. We're all wrong. It's Jack.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wait, is that 3 times in a row?
Is it?
I think so, because I was first last.
Oh my
episode.
gosh, you started. Yes, it
I
is.
did- I started
Jeez,
X-Men.
you're on a hot streak,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Oh, thank God.
All right.
The will.
Who's following?
It's giving me a break.
All right, after Jack.
Not really. It's going to be me next. I can feel it.
I think it's gonna be Austin. I'm always wrong now.
Krais, you were definitely right. It's you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I don't think I've got a single one of those right. I think I just because I go the opposite of Krais.
Yeah.
I just choose
Well, I
to
was
disagree with
also
Krais.
wrong. Yeah.
All right, but yeah, so that means I'll conclude it.
Yep.
Hold on. Is that
It's the same order.
Is the same order?
It's the
as
same order as the last episode.
I don't know if it was the same order as X-Men, but it was the same order of the last episode.
Because Zunado, my 2 pitches, and then your Desert Storm pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that was the same for the X-Men too.
Was it?
It was.
It
yeah.
was, actually.
Yeah. 3 times
Jeez.
in a row.
Wow. We'll like this consistency apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
All right. With that note, Jack, go ahead and kick us off. What kind of treasure hunt do you have for us?
All right. So this movie is titled, it's not a great title, but it works. It's called Family Gem. The log line, or the summary, I guess, is... In a town where gold and contracts are law, the greedy owner of the gold mine, Mr. Welton, through bribery and misleading contracts, forces everyone to work in his dangerous mines. When he gets the mayor to lower the minimum age to work in his mine, Lance must figure out a way to save her younger brother Percy from such a fate. All seemed lost until the necklace Percy's parents gave him starts to glow, proving a family legend of a treasure is true. Can they find it to get out of this crooked town? So there's 3 characters of note. There's Percival, who goes by Percy, the younger brother. He's 16 years old. There's Lancelot, who goes by Lance, the older sister. Yeah, Percival, Lance. She's 19. And then there's Mr. Welton, the greedy owner, as I described. Alright, let's just walk you through the movie. So, the first scene, very short, but it sets up the mood of the world that we're in. Percy watches Lance join the massive crowd of miners walking to work as the sun rises. Not a word is said by any single person, and the gloom just hangs in the air. Next scene, Percy goes throughout his day. He does deliveries on his bike with a wagon on the back of it to multiple places, just run around all over town trying to make a few bucks. I might as well explain this now. Lance and Percy have to do this because their parents had a contract with Mr. Welton, and in it, when their parents died, their debt to Mr. Welton got passed on to them. That would be explained later, but I figured it's just easier to explain that now. Alright. On his deliveries, Percy hears about a new law lowering the minimum age to work in the mine, which means he would be forced to work in the mine to help pay off his parents' debt. Upon hearing this, he abandons the rest of his deliveries and runs to a cliffside where he has a rest spot set up. It's where he goes to think. At this rest spot, Percy looks over the town and the mines in the distance. He flashes back to when his parents died in a collapse in the mine, and he pulls out the necklace his mother had left him. It's a simple green gem attached to a string. He considers out loud selling it and maybe Lance's matching red gem, who she got from their dad, to pay off the rest of the debt and buy the way out of town. As he's thinking, he rubs the gem and it starts to glow when it faces a certain direction. Seeing this, he is reminded of something and rushes home. At home, he digs through his stuff and he finds his grandfather's journal. In a passage, he reads about a legend of how one of his ancestors hid an undefined treasure somewhere in town and passed on the pieces of it, connecting the dots that the gems on the necklaces are part of it.
Sorry.
Good. Lance comes home at sunset, furious, because she heard and is confirming the rumor about the new law lowering the minimum age. She's freaking out because she doesn't want to send her 16-year-old brother in the mines as well. She doesn't want to be in there either because people die in there all the time. Percy shows her the gem, but it doesn't glow. Lance insists on selling the gems to pay off their parents' debt so they can get out of town. Until Percy remembers what happened and rubs the necklace, and again it glows. Lance does the same with her necklace, and it also glows. And there's this big aha moment. Lance and Percy, with the journal, rush off, following the gems as they glow brighter. Finally, they find an undiscovered opening into a new set of caves. They look through the journal again, seeing the gems are trying to get back to their origin, leading them to believe that this treasure is a massive, expensive gem. And then we go into Lance starting to lead Percy through the caves, and as they do, they talk about what they'll do if they find the treasure. If they can get out of town, where are they going to go? Percy says he wants to go to a place where Lance would never have to go underground again. They share a loving moment, which they rarely get, and Lance smiles for the first time in years, since their parents died. Just a sweet, tender moment. Lance doesn't show up for work. The manager, the person who keeps records of all this, reports this to Mr. Welton. Welton tells the manager to issue men to find her as she is breaking her contract. The manager reminds him she is able to take a day off every 2 weeks, and she actually isn't breaking the contract. As this conversation goes on, Welton finds her contract and then changes it in front of the manager, removing that clause, and orders the manager to send them in. Deep in the caves, Lance starts to have a panic attack when a small collapse starts to happen. In the collapse, a few rocks fall. Nothing too dangerous happens. But she's panicking and flashing back to her parents dying. Percy helps her calm down by singing a song their mom used to sing to them. And then once she calms down, the gems start glowing even brighter, and they have new vigor, and they start rushing off towards where it goes. Welton's men, after asking around as to where people last saw the brothers, find the cave entrance. One of them reports back to Welton, and Welton, upon hearing this, sends a dozen men to search for it and the siblings, search through the caves for the siblings, and probably to find more gold. Welton says he will speak to the mayor. The siblings are starting to get discouraged until they realize the treasure is behind a man-made stone wall. Like someone piled a bunch of stones up, kind of like bricked off, but with stones. And once they find this, they start beating into it, trying to take it apart. Mr. Welton meets with the mayor and bribes/blackmails him into changing Welton's deed that owns the mines, now making the caves part of what he owns, and therefore everything in the caves. Finally, the siblings break through the wall and find the treasure, a massive gem of many colors. When they draw near it, their own gems connect to it almost like magnets. And then Welton's men are heard in the distance. They grab the gem and start running. As they're chased through the caves, they must swim through a tunnel they don't know how long. Just as it seems too late and Lance starts to drown, Percy pulls Lance up to air and has to do CPR saving her. And after they recover, they see a bit of light and they find their way out. When they return to town, Welton shows the changed deed to everyone in the town center and claims he owns the gem and demands that they hand it over. Percy, thinking about this, starts looking through his grandfather's journal and finds a deed that actually shows that his family owns those caves. Which makes Welton... Let me preface this. I don't know how this actually works, but we're going with this because this is fantasy and it's a movie. And with that deed, it voids Welton's deed, making it fully illegal. So he doesn't own the mines. He doesn't own everything in the mines. Essentially, he's broke. Everyone around seeing this rises up against him and demands that their contracts be void since he doesn't actually own everything that the contracts depended on. And people start speaking out about how he falsified the contracts, giving testimonial as that he's been doing all this illegal stuff. And since he doesn't have the money to back everything up and enforce this, they don't feel under his thumb anymore. At the end of this, Welton speaks out and he turns to the mayor and basically says, "Hey, mayor, make this legal, shut all this down, and I'll pay you a buttload of money," secretly, saying that's the mayor. But the mayor, finally fed up with everything, sides with the people. And Mr. Welton is arrested for his many, 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 many crimes. And then the movie ends with the siblings have sold the gem and start a journey to a new life.
Nice.
That's it. Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I think it's just a really good... It's a good pitch. It reminds me a lot of the Goonies, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of Goonies vibes from it.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was going for, but definitely for sure. Especially with the caves, yeah.
I will say, I had a similar situation where it's very similar to another thing, which I did not intend, but it's like, oh, that's actually kind of nice. It works.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question. When you say how big is this gem that they find?
It's like a basketball.
Oh,
okay.
So it's a rock for sure.
Yeah.
I should have specified.
Well, you said big, and my brain thought big as in building size, then you're like, these two guys come and grab it. And I go, wait a minute.
No, it's still massive for a gem.
Yeah.
And it's made of it's essentially equivalent of diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, all rolled into one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good pitch. I will say, I think we went for similar vibes.
Okay.
So that's gonna be.
We got two Goonies inspired ones in.
Oh, Goonies is a stretch for mine, but I will say yours is like the gap between my pitch and Goonies.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
We'll understand that when we do yours.
Yes.
In just a second, but
yeah,
I really don't have a whole lot. This kind of just felt like a nice, fun, classic treasure hunt adventure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really enjoyed it. That's about all I really have for it. It's just like, hey, this is very, very fun. A bunch of siblings go together, go explore some caves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rich guy who has the deeds, but he turns out he doesn't. It's just very. It's kind of just a fun-filled adventure. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It gives the vibe of a children's book turned into a movie.
Yeah, that's kind of
that's why it feels very Goonies-like, and it's just like it's fun.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, really. It just happened to fall in line a lot with the Goonies.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, Krais, let's see what this missing link is.
All right.
Or I guess Jack's missing link. What does their missing link lead to?
Yeah. So, mine is a children's book come to life. No, I'm kidding.
About to say it.
That sounds about right for Krais.
Yeah.
No, so I had two different ideas coming into this, and I could not decide between the two. Mm-hmm. So I eventually said, fuck it, I'll merge them. Mm-hmm. So my first idea was, which I thought was the lazy idea, which I've kind of talked about it, but it wasn't the basis for my pitch. It just kind of sprung up on my feed. So I was like, hey, I recently got reminded of a book series called The 39 Clues.
Oh yeah, that series.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it, but I remember the name.
Yeah, and I keep asking, like, hey, I remember the series. What are your thoughts? And everybody that I've asked has been like, I've never heard of it.
Is it the one where it was written by different? It follows like some siblings, and it was written by different. Each book is a different author.
I want to say it is. I don't. I should have done some more.
All right, you keep talking. Let me look this up. What's it called?
39 Clues.
39 Clues. But basically, I thought about that and just kind of making the first book into a movie. But I was like, no, that sounds like the lazy option. Mm-hmm. I want to do something more crazy original. Okay, so I was going through some of my old searches a long time ago. I did a search into unsolved treasure hunting stories, and one came up that I thought was beautiful. It's called The Secret. It's a real life book that has these pictures in it that depict like where a treasure is hidden in the world, or basically. Yeah. So I basically merged these two ideas to get my pitch. It's the movie is under the same name, The Secret. A Grave Unburied is the name of this movie.
Okay.
The Secret, comma,
A Grave Unburied.
A Grave Unburied.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I just merged the two because I wanted to do both and I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
So here's the opening, the line. The Secret is an ancient book with unknown origins, said to hold untold treasures, but with no proof. So basically, how I have it set up is that the Secret was an actual book written a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I'll get more into that later. But the movie takes place in Seattle with two kids, Jade and Hugo. Okay? Mm-hmm. I don't have a reason to talk about it, but I wrote down that their last name is Drake, as in Francis Drake, the famous explorer. Yeah. But these two kids are in foster care.
Are they siblings?
Yeah, they are siblings. Okay. But both kids are in foster care, and they've been longing for the world outside of Seattle. Mm-hmm. Okay, Jade wanting a better life for her and her brother, while Hugo wanting wanting adventure in the great world beyond. Yeah. So on the street heading home from school, they come across a bookstore that has The Secret for sale, and they buy it. And the book is written by a man named Clay Ashcroft. Okay. They buy it because Hugo's big into treasure hunting. Okay, he's really nerdy. He likes solving puzzles, and as soon as he sees the books and the pictures in it, and he's like, I need this. Yeah. Okay. After looking throughout the book, he discovers that the first clue in one of the pictures is set in Seattle. Yeah. He looks at it and it's like, oh, this is real close. Yeah. And he says he tries to convince his sister to go on this adventure with him, and she's like, no, that's dumb. We have homework, stuff like that.
How old are they?
Since they're based off of the 39 Clues kids, they're kind of young, middle school.
Middle school, gotcha.
I don't have an exact age, but after buying the book, Clay Ashcroft, I'll just call him Clay, is alerted, and he sends some goons after them. Okay. It's revealed that Clay didn't actually write the book. He just republished the book. He found the original ancient tome a long time ago, and he's not smart enough to figure out the clues. So basically, he republished the book, and sent it out into the world. And every time someone buys a copy, he keeps an eye on them. And if they find a clue, he kills them and takes the treasure. That hasn't been real successful. But after Jade said no, Hugo's like, well, fuck you, and runs off because he has a good idea. He thinks he's got the answer to the clue. Mm-hmm. So Jade is like immediately looking for her brother, and after a while she runs into a woman by the name of Ada Bishop. Mm-hmm. Okay, she's a writer / explorer down on her luck, mm-hmm. and she's like, hey, talking to Jade and being like, hey, what's going on? Like, tell what's like, it's okay. And she finds out that, and Ada finds out that Hugo is going after the book, which is something she has personal relationships to. And she's like, I gotta stop these kids from making a grave mistake, and heads out with Jade to go find her brother. Mm-hmm. This is about when I was running out of time because coming up with this pitch was kind of hard. Yeah. So I'll just breeze through the second half of the movie. Mm-hmm. Basically, they find out that the book leads to a place now called the Arctic Building. It's a famous building in Seattle. Mm-hmm. I thought was cool. There's a walrus on the building. That's not important to the story. But that's
what I thought was cool. There's a walrus.
Yeah. There's a walrus.
I like the walrus.
I like the walrus. But yeah, they get to the Arctic Building. They find the goons. Ada like kicks one of them in the face, and the two kids are like, "We trust you now. Let's get out of here." Yeah. And they end up climbing the Space Needle to get a good view of Seattle to figure out where to go next. Apparently, they have to go to the actual treasure island that exists in Seattle. Mm-hmm. I thought that was fun. But yeah, after the end of the Space Needle climb, the kids get kidnapped by the goons that Clay hired, and Ada goes and saves them at Treasure Island. At the end of the movie, after they have like the box that has the first piece of the puzzle from the book, Ada's like, okay, you kids are really smart and really scrappy. I like you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to adopt you guys. Mm-hmm. And that starts the rest of the franchise. Basically, how I have it is every like clue in the book is a movie. Yeah. And the three of them solve the clues together. Yeah, that's about it for the story. A couple of notes that I wanted to talk about that doesn't come up in this movie specifically. Clay and Ada work together. That's why Ada knows about the book. He was like the business side. She was the actual explorer. She's the one who transcribed most of the book. Yeah, and he screwed her over. He screwed her over, obviously. Yeah. Another thing that I thought was really cool, it's kind of obvious, but Clay is the reason why Jade and Hugo are in foster care. He killed their parents. I like the idea of like their dad or something worked for Clay, and he's like, hey, cool, you solved the book, now you solved this puzzle, and now you're gonna die. Mm-hmm. And kind of how the relationship, how the team works is Ada is the fighter and the face. She's the adult that gets the kids to where they need to go for the puzzles. Mm-hmm. Jade is like the smart, intelligent planner. She knows how to like talk to people and that kind of stuff. And then Hugo's the really nerdy one. I already touched on that. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my pitch. I think that's about everything I have. I really can't think of anything else. Yeah. Yeah.
You want me to go first, or you want to?
Yeah, you go first.
Honestly, I kind of like it. How many movies do you see in this franchise?
I see at least. I kind of want to keep the original 12 secrets puzzles, but I could see it being shortened down a bit to like at most 5. So
I guess with that, are you planning on, as the stories go on, that you're going to write it so that the kids would be getting older, and by the time the series finishes, they're full adults, almost in their late 20s?
Yeah.
Okay. That's just something I was just curious if you could do that, or if you're going to film a bunch of movies back to back, similar to how they did Lord of the Rings, and then come back and do some. I was just curious how you were planning for that, because, again, 12 clues, 12 movies.
It's a lot. Yeah.
All right, so yeah. Also, why Seattle? I was just curious about that.
Why Seattle? I don't know. I was just thinking, like, where's a fun city to start in, to start the story? And I didn't want to do New York because that's so overdone. As much as I love New York, it's so overdone.
I don't like how you stared directly at me.
It's so overdone.
I know that I've done a bunch of stories in New York. It's fine. It's a tradition for a reason.
But yeah, I love the idea of like the kids in the Space Needle being like treasure and then finding treasure.
Have you been to Seattle?
I have not.
That being said, I do like the choice of making it Seattle though, because it is so different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I got.
I'm gonna be frank with you. I don't think this should be a movie. This should be a TV show for sure. I really do like it. This would definitely be a TV show I would watch, but I think even if you shorten it to 5 movies, it's too much. You'd have to. These type of movies, like we were talking about, the people don't watch treasure hunt movies anymore.
They don't make treasure
They
hunt
don't
movies
make
anymore.
them because I think people just stopped watching them. I don't think you could get 5 movies out of this without it being just like, we can't. We're not making enough money. We're not making money.
I think that you would have to explicitly say this is the 39 Clues franchise and not be the blend of 2 franchises because of how the movie industry works right now. They're very attached to IPs. Yeah. So you need that established IPs. Like, okay, this can be our next Harry Potter franchise. That's how you get a greenlit for a movie.
That's how you're gonna have to do it. Yeah. But I think if you did it where it's you could do a TV show where it's 12 episodes and each episode's like 50 minutes long, an hour long. You could definitely do that, and I would definitely watch that. I don't know, and also just because of how little time you had left I feel like you did like the first like 20 minutes of the movie that you did all of the exposition, and then you're like, oh, the rest of the movie I've got like 5 minutes to do, so you just wrote the rest of the movie, and it just was like, I'm like, this is very much a pilot episode. That's what it read to me. It's very good. I just don't think it works as a movie at all.
That's fair.
That's just my opinion on that.
I mean, it's based off 2 different books.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I was right about the 39 Clues. It's a series that it's a new author each book, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think it works really, really well as a TV show. I don't think it works good as a movie, but I do really like it. You fell into all the way I just phrased that made it seem like it was bad. You did all of the like classic treasure hunting tropes, but there's a reason why they're in every treasure hunt movie is because it's part of the treasure hunting identity, and that's why it's so good. Yeah, I did really like it. I just don't think it should be a movie. I think it should be a series.
Fair.
And I think it'd be really, really good as a series.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like buy a monthly subscription to whatever service it is just to watch that.
Yeah.
And then just watch it in a month and then.
That being said, do you have an idea of what service you would throw it to?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Netflix would fuck me over.
Yeah. I have
Especially if you want a theatrical movie.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a hard. Max, yeah. Max seems like the best choice.
Yeah.
Where I get all, like, where I still get credit, but it's still what I want it to become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max, maybe Prime, but I'd go with Max personally.
Yeah.
I could see it going on Prime, though.
I think it would be pretty popular on Prime.
Yeah. Either way.
Cool.
All right.
And that note, let's go to me.
Yep.
All right.
Please tell me you have, like, the same idea.
No.
Okay.
Mine is drastically different than your
Damn.
two.
I thought you said Jurassically. I'm like, not another Jurassic.
It's Jurassic
Well,
Park.
funny you mentioned there's dinosaurs in this. No.
Okay, I was about to say, like, dude, come on. I know I brought Pokemon up too much, but, like, come on. Don't make dinosaurs your thing.
Dinosaurs won't be my thing.
Okay.
But, yeah.
What
else have I done dinosaurs? That's just kind of curious. What else have I done dinosaurs?
You did the Jurassic City.
And?
That's it.
Yeah, there we go. I'm not
that's what I'm saying. Like, don't fall into the
don't fall into the
jack trap. Yeah.
All right.
Don't become like me and Jack.
So I originally, and you talked about yours being a lazy approach. Mine was almost super lazy because I almost did a remake of the original Treasure Island.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But then I had a stroke of genius when I fell asleep thinking about this prompt. And so what I ended up with was
judge of his genius.
this really, what I find to be a really interesting blend of Treasure Island, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and a little bit of the Harry Potter franchise. Which, coincidentally, when I talked about it being kind of relational to another franchise I unintended, was Lord of the Rings.
Okay, I'm interested.
So let him cook. Okay.
And again, this is going to be very rough because I was very front-loaded again.
Yeah.
But the general idea is in 1672, after a group of cabin boys came across a medallion necklace that is the key to finding a long-lost treasure, they quickly set off in order to make a new life for themselves. But little do they know that the medallion has a tendency to bring out the darkest side of the wearer.
There's the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there's the Lord of the Rings part. Well, that wasn't even what it intentionally. Intentionally, that was going to be more of like the Horcruxes.
Oh, okay.
Like...
From Harry
Potter. Because I have the medallion like whispering to them and stuff. So it's like
that's also very.
It's specifically that necklace Horcrux that was in Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Oh, I can't remember the name.
Yeah, because they rushed through the rest of the Horcruxes in Part 2, but it was specifically the main one that they were trying to find how to destroy in Part 1.
It was one of the Founders' Lockets. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So going on to the story, it opens up on a lone ship on a foggy night with eerie music playing. Suddenly, a man is thrown overboard, and the camera then pans up the side of the ship to see the crews all on deck fighting each other with huge sword fights, flintlocks blasting at each other, and so on.
Yeah. There's
more fighting scenes going on, and we cut to the captain in his quarters who's talking to a young man named Jack. You're welcome. And he's handing him a medallion and tells him to get away while he can. And as he's trying to tell him about the medallion, a mutineer comes in and starts to go for the medallion. But the captain steps in and fights him and tells Jack to run. And so Jack has to sweep his way through the outside the cabin and go avoid all the fighting going on because a lot of people are trying to get that medallion. Mm-hmm. And then Jack makes it to the edge of the ship where the lifeboats are. But he notices two people, and when he gets out of the cabin, he realizes that the ship has caught fire, so it's about to start sinking. And as he makes it to the edge, he notices two people fighting by some oil barrels. Ooh. And then the clash of their swords sets a spark that lights the barrels, and it causes an explosion, sending Jack flying out to the ocean. Mm-hmm. And then Jack makes it up to the ship, or makes it up above water, and lays on a piece of floating debris, and kind of passes out. And the camera zooms in on the medallion. Yeah. Normally, I just kind of like go with transitions into regular scenes and stuff, but I kind of feel like doing the classic like cuts to like a title card music kind of thing. Classic opening credits.
I figured out what the awesome trap is. Give a super awesome description of an opening scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to be trapped in that trap forever.
Keep going.
Anyways, in an English port, we meet James, William, Thomas, and Henry. James being kind of like the head of the group that everyone likes. William being his best friend. Yes, Krais?
Did you just look up a list of famous pirates to name your cast?
No, actually.
Because that is like the 4 most famous pirates in order.
That's cool. I literally looked up what names for 1700s boys. So
that's shocking.
Like it's also kind of where I kind of came from with Pirates of the Caribbean because I named a lot of the characters. Like, what are some characters' names from that franchise? There's James Norton. Is like I kind of like the name James for being the lead character on this. Jack Sparrow. William was William Turner.
Yeah.
And
Henry
Turner.
I think.
I wasn't even thinking. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's his name.
That's
his son's name.
Yeah. And then Thomas. And basically Thomas and Henry were kind of just extra names I looked up. So any coincidence? I like it. I'll take it. Full credit for it. I definitely meant to do that.
Yep.
But yeah, James is kind of the leader. William is his best friend. Mm-hmm. Thomas is the study bookworm kind of dude. And Henry is the fun-loving, drinking, whoring around guy. Since, they all work as cabin boys in a pub. Yeah. And, Henry really likes his job. Yeah. James wants to find a way to get out of the pub and find a place where he can take his friends and his love, Elizabeth. Again, another Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's also another famous.
I know.
That's why they
There's a reason why, because they're so popular. Yeah. And have a happy life. And as they're having a rough day with work and all that, Jack washes up on shore and is brought into the pub because this is kind of similar to Treasure Island where the pub's kind of out on the outskirts of a town. Yeah. So they bring it up close to it. Yeah. Jack tells them about the mutiny and how he talks about how he needs to get the treasure just so he can get a better life. Mm-hmm. And on that commonality, they decide that they need to set off and quickly because Jack believes that some of the mutineers are going to come after him in the medallion. So they need to steal. They decide to steal a ship with the help of Jack, who's been proven to be very resourceful around ships. Yeah. Jack gives the medallion yeah.
Sorry, it just.
I knew
I
where
felt like that was a real bump for your ego, Jack. He's so resourceful and he's great.
No,
you
this
are
is clearly
right?
not named after me.
Yeah.
But Jack gives the medallion to Thomas, who wants to study it and see if he can help reveal the location of the island. But they realize they needed to get off land as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And I do like the idea of like maybe some pirates came into the pub and started going around for it.
Yeah.
During this time, while Thomas is studying, Jack starts teaching the cabin boys how to sail because they got a smaller ship, so that way they need a bigger crew.
Yeah.
But he's teaching them how to sail so that way they can be successful on their journey. Mm-hmm. And as they're doing that, a storm rolls in, and then we kind of see a little bit of their struggle trying to stay alive in the storm.
Yep.
They're successful, but they're really washed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, as
what? You didn't laugh.
He wasn't impressed with my jokes. It's okay. It's okay. But
be better.
Oh, I will. But
terrible pitch. Move on.
During Thomas's studies, he starts to hear the whispers of the medallion, just telling him all of his inner thoughts and how his friends have been kind of douchebags to him. Yeah. But it's not real. They're really not towards him. It's just his more inner thoughts speaking to him, and he becomes angry and attacks Henry out of jealousy because Thomas has proven himself to be a very resourceful guy, yet he can't get a woman, and all Henry does is drink and sleep around. And so he starts to attack him, and at this point, the rest of the guys break them up and remove the necklace from Thomas. And then to prevent any more madness from taking a hold, they decide to hold shifts so no one's holding it for more than 24 hours.
So Harry Potter.
Yeah. And then as they're doing it, each person starts to hear their temptations and desires speaking to them. They eventually make it to the island, and I do like another idea of maybe another naval battle or something happening. Yeah. But time didn't allow for it. And they start to find the location of the treasure, but they end up fighting each other again. And this time, Thomas pulls a gun on Henry, and he shoots it, but William pushes Henry out of the way, and William's the one that dies.
William's the best friend, right?
Yeah. There was several different routes that I could have gone. I haven't fully set on one, but one of them is Thomas realizing when he's done, and then, offing himself. And that was one solution out of guilt. Yeah. Another one would be James killing him out of revenge. Yeah. Or justice, depends how you see it.
Avenging.
Yeah. And then, some of it is just, or maybe just sending Thomas off on his own and exile him to the island for the rest of his life.
Either way,
he's not getting off the island. And then there's some more stuff that happens. They probably have some problems finding the treasure or more pirates coming on. But at the end of the movie, only James and Jack make it off the island with some of the treasure. Yeah. So James reunites with Elizabeth and buys land so that they can live together. And James doesn't have to work in the pub anymore. Yeah. The movie ends with Elizabeth asking James, "What did it cost?" And James replies with everything. And then Elizabeth leaves the room. Yeah, there's a little bit of Avengers influence. I was thinking the same thing. But then Elizabeth leaves the room, and I like to see James sitting by a fireplace, and then he looks over to the fireplace next to a table where he has the medallion sitting, and he starts to hear the whispers of the medallion again. And then the movie ends.
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. First off, what happened with Jack at the end?
I like to think that Jack kind of just went off on his own, or maybe he lives in a off part of the land that James buys. I kind of felt like Jack finally finds his happiness and is able to succeed. It's because he was kind of the guy. I didn't want to I toyed with the idea of him making a sacrifice play for them, but I kind of wanted him to have a happy ending.
Yeah. I just didn't know if he was gonna set sail again, and that's because that's just his what he enjoys in life.
Yeah.
Or if he.
Well, I didn't want to make him fully like Jack Sparrow, but.
Yeah, I liked it. I kind of wish Elizabeth joined the journey.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I originally wanted to put a bunch of women in there because I wanted it to be a much bigger group with more of a bigger fallout. So Elizabeth was originally intended to be in. It's just this time constraint forced me to all right, let's just that way I can still call the movie The Cabin Boys.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make a focus group on friendship too,
Gotcha.
and some of the fallouts that come from it.
That's for what you were going with. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Even if it was just Elizabeth who like stowed away or something, I was expecting.
I definitely wanted a woman to be in the crew. I just couldn't fit it in with the time constraint.
Yeah. I mean, you.
I definitely wanted a couple women in there too.
Yeah.
But
You did it pretty quick.
I had a lot of story to cover, so.
Yeah. You clearly ran out of
Yeah,
time.
it would have been really nice if like they're like having some kind of like naval battle, and then all of a sudden this like lady pirate just fucking parries Jack's sword, and she goes, "Sit down," and runs away, and Jack's like, "I'm in love," and that would have been great for his happy ending, personally. But
Set sail.
Well, that was also one of the reasons why I thought maybe Henry would have been the things that set off Thomas to say that one of the women on board was someone that he liked, but
and
sleeps with Henry, and it's like, oh.
So in my head, I was just like, when you said that part, I was like, so the medallion just like raises your testosterone levels.
Basically, just for this one, yes, but like it should mess with everyone.
Yeah, I know. It's just I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
A funny thought. Yeah, no, I liked it. I think it'd be great. And then I would rename Jack, honestly, just because it's like everyone. If it's released today, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's Jack Sparrow." Everyone is going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Jack. Just switch Henry and Jack or something like that.
Maybe
Something like that, but you could, and if you wanted to, you could make it a franchise but Jack would be the lead in that series. Which is another reason why I would suggest changing the name Jack. But other than that, I really liked it.
Yeah, this wasn't even intended to be a series. This is kind of more of a one-off thing with an ambiguous ending. That's kind of
it was definitely like a self-contained story, but it could be expanded upon if you so choose, which is actually kind of what the first Pirates of the Caribbean was.
Yeah.
And then anyway, but yeah, I really liked it. I don't have a lot to say. You weren't able to expand upon it as much as I wanted, but that's the nature of what we do on this podcast. So yeah,
Chris?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
I will start off. I really did like this because a lot of like treasure hunt movies that involve pirates, it's years later where they're like, we have to find Blackbeard's treasure, okay, or we're going to lose the property, or I want the gold. What I like about this pitch is it's like, oh, it's actual pirates fighting for treasure. That's kind of cool. I like that. I don't think there's a truly call to action in the movie. If that makes sense. Like, Jack shows up with the medallion, and it's like, hey, let's go.
Well, I also talked about possibly the idea of pirates coming in and messing with the pub, forcing them out anyways.
Yeah,
it's just some of them want to get out anyways.
Right.
I don't really have a problem with there not being an obvious call to action just because you didn't have a lot of time to expand upon a lot of things. You would definitely be able to work that in. But again, there's probably at least 4 or 5 scenes
I can recognize that it's kind of like, hey, get to the adventure.
Yeah.
But that was just because of time restraint. Obviously, there would be I definitely, because I did have a heavy influence from the original Treasure Island. That's why a lot of the setup is very similar to it.
Yeah. See, I don't. That's the reason I don't have a problem with that because again, there's probably like 4 or 5 scenes that are just unwritten. You're like, I think there'd be a naval battle here. There'd probably be more fighting. That's because you're at that stage in the development of the story. I don't have a problem with that personally.
Fair enough.
But
that.
I really like that you use the whispering amulet thing.
That is nice.
That idea.
I really enjoyed
that. Was the idea that really drove me because I really wanted to be more that's another reason why everything else was kind of more sidelined because I wanted it to be more personal and more of the greed, corruption kind of thing as you're getting to the treasure. That's why the treasure is not very big and brand oh, this is the lost treasure of who knows. It's just some ancient treasure. But the medallion is the key, but it's kind of corrupts you as you do it. I thought that would have been an interesting thing to try and explore.
For sure. Another question. Are you wanting this to be very historically accurate outside of the whispering necklace?
How so? I'm okay. I would say no because I wasn't going to say it's historical accuracy for fiction wise, though, like if the period's gonna be set in the right time, they're gonna be wearing the right clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no like some pirate with a wizard wand being like, "Avada!"
Yeah, no. Like there's no. I'm not trying to connect it to the British trading company.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make some famous pirate legend. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, hey, this is a treasure hunt story with some free will stuff. Like there's not a whole lot of reality.
Yeah, I was just curious if it was like more of an historical fiction one, and then this one element made it into that, or if it was like.
I think naturally.
Where would you fall?
I think naturally, with it being a period piece, it becomes historical fiction, and it's just kind of like that. So maybe there would be stuff, but that wasn't something I really focused on. Okay. It's just like I wanted to set in this time period, and I wanted cutlasses and flintlock weapons, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
I thought when you said free will, you said like free will or something like that earlier.
You said
editor playback.
This is a treasure hunt story with some free will stuff. Like there's not.
The joke I'm trying to make, when you said free will, my brain heard Free Willy, and I'm like, that's an interesting take on the movie. Just cursed amulet, and then just dolphin.
Okay.
It was an orca, but okay. Or it was an orca? It was a whale.
I don't know. It's some kind of intelligent fish creature.
Anyways.
Spin the wheel!
Yeah, good pitches all around.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we spin that wheel?
Guess not.
No.
Chris just wants to spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel!
All right. What are we doing next?
Next episode, we will be...
It's going to be something terrible. I can feel it.
Create a mobster movie.
Okay.
That one's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I'm kind of in that mob boss feeling right now, so...
I need to watch The Penguin.
Oh, yeah.
To get in the mood. Or The Godfather, or both.
Or, those two. And then play Mafia. I think that's going to help me.
Where do I
play Mafia the game?
Yeah. Have you not played it? It's really good.
We did it. Yeah, we did. Oh, you mean the video game?
Okay. The video game, Mafia.
I was like...
No, not like the
how is that helpful for making a mobster movie?
No, like, there's a video game called Mafia. Yeah. And it's set in the 1930s, so... Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Well, that one should be fun.
Yeah.
Well... Thank you all for listening to this episode. We actually had a lot of fun with the treasure hunting one.
Yeah, so. I was not expecting much from this prompt, but I think we all did pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, be sure to let us know in the comments and our poll on what you think or whose pitch you like the best. And and just feel free to comment and see what you like about it and see what you would do for a treasure hunt movie. Yeah. Yeah, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and be on the lookout for any more content because we got a lot of stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah, we got a bunch of fun things going on around this time.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you next time.
Now, where is that cursed amulet?
Thanks for listening to the Three Not So Wise Men. Krais Baker, Jack Green, and Austin Michaelis. Shout out to Louis Trotter for the awesome theme music. Have a good one, y'all.